Okay, so today's Friday, 5 days after we started this amazing program. Let's give these kids and these amazing professors and all the team from Boston a great round of applause, please. I know you're excited. I know you're nervous, and that's completely fine. That happens because why? Because you care. And we've seen you engaged. We've seen you work not only here during the classes and during the sessions, but I know you've had meetings afterwards and you've taken a lot of time to make the best out of this amazing opportunity. What you have learned here, not only in class, but through the interactions between your classmates, I know you will be, I know that it will change your life. The frameworks, the ideas, the conversations, everything, take it with you. Take them with you. You are all amazing. We have seen you. We have seen you, and now we're going to see the amazing ideas and the projects that you have designed. Again, take that energy that you have, that los nervios que tengan, and funnel them, okay, into great positive energy. We are so proud of what you have achieved. And now, please, please, please enjoy, okay? This is a celebration of your creativity. Creativity in the age of AI. I'm getting goosebumps because this is it. We're going to see your creativity in action. Thank you to our amazing panel of experts that will be joining us just to give you feedback. And now you know how to receive that feedback with respect, with intent, and with a lot of gratefulness. Is that a word? Yes, gratefulness? Okay. So thank you again. Parents, thank you for trusting us. Gracias por la confianza. Sabemos que ha sido una semana intensa de muchas maneras, pero creo que todo vale la pena. Por el crecimiento de nuestros jóvenes, porque tengan oportunidades diferentes, que los hagan soñar, that they can dream also, que puedan soñar sobre muchas cosas que ustedes van a ver hoy. Así es que desde Innova-nation estamos muy, muy contentos por tener la oportunidad de tener un equipo maravilloso como Erdin, como Mark, como Lily y por supuesto el staff de Innova-nation, Astrid, Sol, Sabrina, gracias a todos ustedes. Así es que, sin más, let's start. Are we ready? Yes? No. Are we ready? Yes. Okay, that's a good one. So, first team. A ver, ¿dónde está my first team? Are you still standing, right? Okay, you can stand up and come to the tarima. Come on, let's give them a great round of applause. 1 second, okay, let me just introduce them very quickly. 1 sec. So we have here Vicky Aguilera, Joel Agman, Gianluca Merola, Estefanía Guevara, Mariana García Grande, and Aníbal Ortega with the team still standing. Take it away.
Thank you. First of all, good morning, everyone. Are you all excited to be here? Yes. Because I know we are, and we are especially excited to be able to present Still Standing, a platform that will change the future of domestic violence.
Still Standing seeks to address the lacks of the accessible, anonymous, and user-centered guidance for women experience domestic violence in Panama.
our logo concept. Our logo is about a woman who is empowered, strong, and doesn't have fear to talk about her abuse.
Okay, the problem of still standing is the lack of guidance for women who has been or are being abused, and there are 15,000 to 17,000 cases reported of women abuse in Panama, but there are still 67% or to 75% of cases that that don't go reported, and that helps the femicide in Panama.
The most likely victims to suffer from this abuse are women between the age of 25 years and 49 years old. Also, indigenous women, Afro-Panamanian women, and women with low income or limited education.
Now, last night we had the chance to speak with a domestic abuse survivor, and this is a quote that we gathered from our interview with her that really changed our perspective of how these victims think and how they feel in these moments. And for us, this was what really gave us the energy to come here today and be able to talk about this. And we would like you to read it for yourselves in order to better understand our issue and why we're here.
The question is, why is this problem important? This problem is important because many victims of domestic violence don't report it. And this is very bad because it's like when you don't report it, it can end in homicide or like worse and worse, and people are scared to say something.
Our solution is to create an accessible website for women who are going through domestic abuse. This is the first step so they can, don't feel the fear and can be like in a community.
Through simple quizzes or questions, the platform recognizes the victims and connect them with our local resources or our online community that is managed by AI and help us prevent the abuse.
Now, how exactly can we implement AI into this project? For this, we've built a mapped out guide that involves 5 different steps, the first of which is data collection. Now, where do we get our data? There are several publicly available reports and cases from the National Police as well as the Procuraduría Nacional de la República, and articles and reports from sources like NIH, the UN, and LAC reports, which LAC is Latin America and the Caribbean.
Some of the bias we are trying to eliminate are the in-group bias, the out-group bias, the stereotypical bias, and fundamental attribution bias.
Now, the third step is model selection. So, which AI models do we select for this project? The first is the quiz part of our platform, which will involve a private analysis of the user's input. So, depending on how the answers are to these questions, the platform will be able to make a private analysis through cluster, which basically details different characteristics from the user's answers. Now, when it comes to the output that the platform gives, we will use generative AI for this. And this is where we have to make sure that it's very capably trained because you're dealing with victims in a very delicate mind space. And when it comes to community management, we will be using reinforcement algorithms for the AI. Now, in evaluation, we have been able to get a network of different victims that we have met, and we will be asking them for their help in the testing of our app. Now, we will only launch this app until at least 90% of comments that are inappropriate within our community are able to be deleted automatically by the AI, as well as that the AI is capable of providing at least 90% of users, which with a very appropriate answer, depending on what the input was for the quiz part of the AI. And the last part is deployment and maintenance, which, as we mentioned, we will be building a web app, and it's a business-to-client model.
Working with Erdin taught us about how to deal with criticism and analyze more deeply. On the other hand, learning from Mark helped us understand that we can treat AI with hellos and thank yous, and that AI is a tool that we can learn about and develop our skills.
Last but not least, we want to say special thank you to Tia Karin and all staff work on Innova-nation, making this experience possible.
Thank you to all of you for being here and watching our presentation.
Yeah, we're done. And questions that anyone has that might need answering, anything that maybe was not clear? Yeah? Oh, okay.
So as I was saying, this is fantastic to start with you guys, because at the end of the day, you set the bar way, way, way high. Okay, this is not a contest, I know that, but first and foremost, everything starts with interest and wanting to address something which is challenging for society. So that is the first step, and you guys did fantastic. Now, when we talk about AI, one of the key things, and certainly under these circumstances, you have to do with sentiment analysis, right? So I want you guys to elaborate a bit more about how do you feel that you guys will address sentiment analysis, because the interaction, the quiz that you're giving will be determined heavily by AI interpreting the responses. So sentiment analysis is an important part. And then the second piece of my question will be around learning. How do you plan to continue to enhance your model as you start to help more and more women in this? So those are my two questions.
That's great. Does anyone want to start, or should I jump in? Okay, when it comes to sentiment analysis, we are aware that the psychology behind these victims and how they interpret things is a huge part of this project's ability to actually have any impact. So as we mentioned, we do have a network of victims that we have consulted actively throughout this project, and our interviews have determined kind of, we do have like notes from our interviews, and the mindset and the quotes that they gave us of how they felt in these moments, we want that to be part of the data that we give the AI, as well as we have several like NIH, which is the National Institute for Health, about the psychology behind this. So we think that maybe that will help us a little bit on that end. And when it comes to how we will continue learning from this experience and how we will keep innovating our project, definitely I think a big part of that is like our ability to like, I think we have to see this after we actually test the AI in these things, because I don't think that we can predict how this, I don't think we have a clear understanding of how this app will function until, it does. So I think that's something that we will have to just see, but we're obviously we're open to keep learning and keep innovating, because as our audience grows as well, maybe in the future we will be able to not only treat female victims, but also deal with men and children and other abuse victims, as well as elders, which is a very big topic nowadays when it comes to elder abuse as well.
First of all, congratulations to you all guys. The way that you prepared, this is not a contest, and you prepare as it was. So that shows that you have that intrinsic motivation, and that's amazing to see that in the youth. And also, I see that you prepared a very good presentation, including data. So I recommend to add the fonts. Where did you find that data in the future? And I wonder, where did you find it? And in the same way, my question is, I see that you will face, if you run this program, I see that you will face problems in the first step in data collection, because you mentioned our institution's databases, and you all know that we don't have the best databases in our country. So if you run this project, how do you plan to overcome those challenges in data collection?
Yeah, definitely data collection being the first step is, yeah, as you mentioned, our institutions might not have the best databases. Definitely, it has been an issue. We've spent most of the time that we've researched in this project through gathering websites and reports, and we have a list of them, but again, we are actively looking for more and more, so that's definitely a huge kind of issue that we're working on. Does anyone have anything else to add on that aspect?
Definitely add, don't be shy. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to practice. So, yes, somebody take the mic and make yes.
Very good. Very good. Yes.
Okay, so we want also to talk to people in Panama. We want to have real evidence that this is gonna work for our data.
As Mariana said, we want to talk to the women and men in Panama. Like at school, we're talking about making a program to talk in the schools about the abuse and meetings to teach elderly women and grown-ups.
Also, podcasts for women to be aware of the situation.
Yeah, so education, we have lots of ideas for education that, for time reasons and objectives for the program we didn't include here, but we have talked about them, and I think it's one of the reasons that we're so passionate about this topic.
Very good. I mean, wow, it's been 5 days only, right? And your problem statement is very clear, right? That you want to help a specific audience, and I like how you guys start small. Let's start with women, and then we expand into other things. So oftentimes I see people starting big, and then it becomes very hard to manage or execute. So good job on that. And I like the fact that the decision came from you guys to do this project. It's a human decision. And then you used AI to help you implement it. It's not the other way around. You're not asking AI, what's the problem we need to solve today? You actually came up with it, whether it's through your, whatever you feel. So I think that's a good direction. And I really like how you guys had a quote in there. The only thing is I couldn't see the quote because I was sitting here. So maybe, think about maybe saying it, saying it out to the audience who may not be able to see it, because it's a deep feeling quote. And one last comment is just a presentation style. At the beginning, I know there's technical difficulties and things happen. Don't stop talking when you're presenting, okay? Even if things are not working behind you, move on, okay? So that's my, but overall, I'm very impressed.
First of all, congratulations, guys, because this is an amazing way to thank to the this organization for and thank this program and make something good for the community. It's an excellent approach. And I have a question because it wasn't clear to me, but maybe with the other speakers, this approach is just for Panamanian women?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, for now.
Okay, yes, for now. Because it was interesting when you saw the data processing step that you had to face a stereotype bias. It's really interesting that and it's important that you see that when we come to women and domestic violence, we have different issues, and it depends. And maybe sometimes it gets stereotyped, and this is important for your data collection and also processing. So I want to congratulate it.
Thank you.
Let's give them a round of applause. Hey.
Imagine that you are going to start doing your daily activities in your house with fresh water. But when you open the faucet, the first thing that you see is a string of water filled up with animal waste. Well, this is a reality that is happening in la península de Azuero. The río La Villa is polluted. El río La Villa está contaminado. This is a real problem that is happening right now. And it's so serious because in this image we can see a text of my friend telling me that he needs to search water in a public park to get some fresh water to drink, to do her daily activities in their house. So this is a problem so serious, and then he entered biofield.
Now, let's talk more about the problem. Firstly, rivers are being contaminated by different pollutants across the land. And this not only damages the environment, but also communities surrounding it. Firstly, let's talk about animal waste. Like slaughterhouses, their cheapest option is always to just throw it away in the river and make it someone else's problem. That leads to mineral waste and also toxic pollutants that they residue in the river, making it contaminated for marine life that lives there and the communities surrounding it. Now, let's talk about this problem in Rio La Villa. Firstly, slaughterhouses are very common in that land, and they always throw their waste into the river, unfiltered waste. This causes nitrates and phosphates across the river to be extremely concentrated, making it extremely unhealthy, meaning the areas surrounding it, the communities like La Península de Azuero, are looking for better options because their main source of water is being contaminated.
So, why nitrates and phosphates are so dangerous? These nutrients, while natural in small amounts, they become deadly in high concentrations. So first, health risk escalates. So contaminated water isn't safe for human consumption, bathing, and agricultural use. And it's very expensive. Once these pollutants are present, or we know that they are there, it's very expensive to eliminate them from the rivers. So, why current solutions fail in rural areas? First is very expensive because treatment plants require massive infrastructure, so that rural areas can't afford. Then it's not continuous. Intermittent treatment only leads to more contamination, and it's geographically inaccessible. Remote communities aren't, they are very far from existing treatment plants, so they cannot benefit from their existing systems. So in shorter words, or in other words, there's no long-term systems to maintain the river's health.
Biofuel is a living, intelligent filter. We represent a shift from a reactive cleanup to continuous regeneration. We combine biology, artificial intelligence, and continuous operation to ensure the rivers are clean. We use microalgae to remove the pollutants from the water, AI to optimize the filtration of the water, and we work 24/7 to ensure the rivers are clean. We don't just clean rivers, we keep them healthy. So biofuel works like the river's kidney. So first the water enters from the dirty side of the river to the biofuel system. The microalgae will absorb the pollutants and sensors will monitor the water quality. Then the AI will decide when the water is clean enough to come back into the river. Nature already solved the problem, but we just optimized it.
Well, about the role of the AI in biofuel and why it is revolutionary. Biofuel isn't passive. It uses real-time sensor data to predict filtration times, and it helps us decide when to release the water and if we should add more microalgae. And for the AI, we will use a pipeline which consists of data collection and data we will get from a previous experiment, and we will process the data trying to minimize the bias and inconsistencies. We will use a regression model with a supervised algorithm to predict the time of filtration. And we will test the model with real water samples, and we will deploy it with our first prototype and improve it as time passes.
Our vision is intelligent regeneration. We want to restore polluted rivers, maintain, create sustainable future for the people, create self-sustaining filtration system for generations, protect communities, scale globally, and continuous health. Biofuel is the kidney of the river. Thank you.
I'm impressed. You are brilliant. You are attaching a very complex but local problem, and that's great. So you show in your presentation the root cause, and that shows us that you worked in frameworks to find and understand deeply the problem, and that's amazing. Then you are using words such as kidney, and those words helps all the people to understand how technology and our bodies are like similar, and then I can understand your problem, even though some people don't understand deeply the technical word that you present. And that's my question. You present us technical diagrams and thoughts about this project, and I wonder, some of you have worked in this problem before, or this was something that you came up during these 5 days?
We have previously worked with the problem before, so we we took inspiration from Nilo. He lives in Azuero. And I previously did research with microalgae last year. So we are using the data we collected from that research to implement it in a more optimized way for the river. And we are investigated so many things that can happen when you use microalgae naturally. So algae blooms can happen, and we don't want that because that can also harm the environment. But in this controlled space, algae blooms won't happen, and the water will be clean, and the people can use them freely, and they can, like, the marine environment will evolve very quickly if the water is clean, and the community all will be benefited with this project, because everyone needs the water. And, like, for example, Nilo's friend won't have to go to another community to look for water. So this is what we wanted to prevent, negative effects that can happen with microalgae, but using them in the best way possible.
Amazing.
So yet again, a great example of tackling something which is huge and difficult. And I really, really appreciate the fact that you guys take on these types of challenges. So I always say that's the first step in making change, is to really say, I'm going to do something about it, right? So AI is not only enabling us to do these type of analysis, but also it's enabling us to create models that we can simulate. As you are going through this process of building this biofill, you probably have to do a lot of simulations. Have you guys thought about, I know it's 4 or 5 days, but in the future to think about building an AI digital twin type model that will be able to simulate the very scenarios that you're going to be having to model to some extent?
Yeah, we would in the future think of making a digital twin to test the changes we would make to the model before implementing them in the actual product and the actual filter.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. I love how your team worked together, right? You all have different strengths that you bring. You know, someone who's looking at microbiology, someone who has the real experience of living this, the AI piece, the data collection. You're actually talking to each other as a team. I can see that very clearly. And that's going to be how the world is going to work, whether with technology or not. You're going to have to talk to each other. And I love how you're amplifying the humanity piece through the teamwork that you're shown here. And again, this is a huge problem, as Glenn mentioned, but you've kind of simplified it in a way. It's, it is the river's kidney, to Nicole's point about you made it relevant, right? So people can understand the importance of this, what a kidney's function is. I'm not a scientist, right? But I understand what a kidney does. So this is I think there's something here. I think you guys need to keep continuing this, because this is a human problem everywhere, right? And we went to the canal the other day talking about water shortage. So I just encourage you to keep researching on this. The only, again, 4 or 5 days. So the only comment I have is, if we're producing clean water and we're using AI to help us with that, who's supervising the AI is to make sure, because this is going into our bodies. So I think we have to be extremely cautious about making sure the data that's coming out is correct.
So we would like to have, once we implement this project, like a team that's always supervising the biofuel machine, because it's obviously very important to ensure that the water is really healthy for all the community that's going to be benefited by this, and we cannot blindly trust AI. So we would like to have a team that's always monitoring the machine, not only in the ensuring that it is filtering the water correctly, but also in the way that if everything is working correctly, because we're working with water and technology, so that those are two things that in the past didn't work together very well, but we need to to ensure always that the machine is working correctly, not just in the AI, but in the mechanical part.
That's the ethical part. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. Congratulations. And I'm glad that you speak about that because water pollution is one of the most important problems that we have right now. Next wars are going to be about water, and we are clear on that. And it's amazing that you guys think on this project because it is a tool that can help our scientists, our engineers to clean the water that we need every day. And this is a problematic that I can relate. I'm also for Nilos region, so I understand that issue. I have to go every week for drinkable water. I know that. And this is not all of our region problem in many part of the world. And it's amazing that you can, this is your model? Yes. Is your design? And I was in this past week I was hearing you when you speak about this, and maybe one recommendation is to make it far from the river because it's too near, and it could affect just because of our experience the flows every year, but it's great. And we can see that you have an amazing work, and this is a problem. This is a project that you can sell. It's not just for the communities. It's a great and amazing project. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This was Team Biofuel: Isabela Gómez, María Victoria Sáenz, Nilo Murillo, Fernando Rodríguez, Camila Sinilio, and David Lafori. Un aplauso para ellos, por favor. Okay, so next team, let's call Flavorful AI. Victoria Moreno, Victoria Ford, Edilberto Moreno, Ramón Martínez, Santiago Martínez, and Julián Araúz.
Okay. Do me a favor, real quick. What? Oh, el control. Clicker, yeah. Ah, raro. Okay, where was I? Okay. Yeah. Do me a favor right now. Look at all this food. Looks good, doesn't it? Okay. Now, changing subjects. College students. Do you think they have time for making all of this delicious food? No, I don't think so. It looks more like instant noodles every week. Now, this is where Flavorful AI comes in.
Okay, so as he said, this is a real problem, and you might think it's superficial, but look around. Here we have the live example of Miss Fatima. She's a newly married person, and she has this problem. So, our problem is that cooking with the time has gotten hard. It has gotten hard because new recipes exist all over the internet, but none is personalized for every single one of you guys. I also want to mention that cooking not only is hard, but sometimes it's inaccessible. Inaccessible because people don't have the time. As we said, the example of college students, they don't have the time to learn to cook. They have to study. Newly married people have to take care of their house, and maybe they don't have the time to learn how to cook. And our product is the solution to that. And also, we want to add, why is this a problem? This is a problem because if you are constantly ordering food or just eating, as we said, instant noodles, this can get to unhealthy weight gain and also have health problems, affect your mental health, and affect, in the case of college students, your grades. Our product is the key to this. Our product is the key for you to not eat instant noodles anymore and to have the cooking right then and there for you and for your needs.
Okay. What exactly is flavorful AI? Basically, it's like cooking on semi-automatic. It's an on-demand frying pan that has a built-in AI that will give you small tutorials while you cook. It can detect whether you're making a mistake or you're doing stuff right. And everything that, like a good teacher, every time you struggle, flavorful AI is there to correct your mistakes in the kitchen.
So you might be wondering, how does this work? How does Flavorful AI do such complicated tasks? So, Flavorful AI is a pan with technological advancements such as a built-in weight, a temperature sensor, and an AI voice guide that will guide you to complete a better cooking experience. It is made of a stainless steel and a triple ply base, and a handle is made from phenolic resin, silicone, and fiberglass reinforced polymer. This allows for the pan to stay heated while the handle is not heated and allows you to grab it without getting burnt. So, who does this product help? Many people who have just started living alone have not yet developed a cooking habit. This leads to many wasting ingredients, having a messy kitchen, and also wasting a lot of money on delivery, which is unnecessary. Don't skip it. Okay, this will help people as a guide, and this is where Flavorful AI comes in. Flavorful AI will be a guide to all these people who don't know where to start and who have all these doubts, and to lead them to a better path for cooking.
Okay. How does the AI pipeline look like? Well, for starters, cookbooks, different cookbooks from legendary chefs are fed to the AI. The data screening helps counter against unsafe and outdated steps in each cookbook. Okay. The proficiency test measures the AI's ability to follow steps and give tutorials. After this, in the evaluation, we'll have open beta tests. Willing participants from focus groups will test the AI tutorial. Okay. The deployment will be our own website and also different supermarkets. Lo puedes encontrar en 99, por ejemplo. Ongoing updates. AI and website are continuously updated and maintained.
So if we want to sell our product, we need firstly to know what our clients like. So that's why we have data. So the most ordered foods in Pedidos Ya are burgers, fried chicken, Chinese food, sushi, and pizza. And the most viral cookbook on the internet, is the Betty Crocker's Picture Cookbook. So we will be able to agregar nuestras recetas, agregar estas recetas to the intelligent pan so they can be able to make these products. So, no. And with this data, we will know what food is most popular among our clients.
How will we make the pan sustainable? We will get the recycle metal from Jacinto, Panama, which is a business model that allows economies where waste has the potential to be converted into money, motivating the recycling materials. Marketing. We have business to business, which is when a business sells its product or services to another business, and we have business to client when a business sells its product or services directly to the customers. In this case, we use both models. In the business to business, we sell our product to the supermarkets, which help us reach many customers with trusted stores. This also helps us our product become more visible and easier to find. And in the business to customer model, we sell our products directly to the customers on our website online, allowing people to shop anytime and from anywhere. Using both models help us reach a larger audience, increase sales, and give customer more choices. It also helps our business grow and adapt to what the customers want.
So flavorful AI is more than just a cooking tool. It helps you eat healthier, be more responsible, and also save a lot of money. And using a step-by-step guidance helps you learn a very important skill that you need in everyday life, and also like helps you and your family and can help a lot of people. And like literally, cooking can help basically anybody.
Mission. Our mission as Flavorful AI is to facilitate the cooking experience for all those messy or unexperienced cookers out there, or just those who want to improve. People who just started living alone face these problems, and our product will help them improve and become better cooks.
Thank you. And we especially want to thank Innova-nation, MIT, AI Create, and Smiley Bridge, and Tia Karin for giving us this opportunity. It's so unique, and honestly, we're so grateful. We have learned a lot. Thank you. Okay, time for questions.
First of all, I'm amazed by your energy. You can sell air.
Thank you.
Um, this project is amazing. You know that I like it for the first time I hear it, because I can relate to it, as you just mentioned. And this is problematic that young people face. As I told you a few days ago, we talk about it. We have problems managing how to organize our time, and time is one of the most valuable things that we have now. Time is the thing that help us keep a healthy life, that keep us the love of our kids, of our partners, and the entertainment time, and it's life. Time is life, and this is an amazing project. But I have a quick question. How does pans that you have compete to those ninja products that you put all the ingredients together and they make you all of that complicated food?
Okay, great question, first of all. So our product is different because Ninja basically makes it for you, as you said, but our product is personalized. So our product uses an AI voice activated that literally speaks to you and tells you what you need to do in the kitchen in order for you to achieve an amazing meal and to complete the recipe and have the best experience and with the quality of our product.
Sorry, personalized for each client. Like if I don't like the food salty or spice, or I like, for example, I like spicy food or in sauce level.
So we have an app, and in the app you can like tell the like the pan like what kinds of like foods you like, and like what kinds of ingredients you have like in your house, and what kinds of ingredients you don't like or you're allergic to. So based on that, it can make like different recipes for your taste.
And maybe you can consider to make a part where you can help people to organize their week so they can buy the products that they wanted.
This is so fun. So you got a smart and sustainable frying pan. It's like the magic pan, right? It's like it pretty much does everything for you. Energy, great. Marketing, great. I mean, because I had questions about who is this for? Because what about those people who actually like to cook? And because do any of you cook? Yeah, so
But I wish it was easier.
so that's the thing. Actually, it's an experience for some people, right? They enjoy the experience of cooking and they like to take the time. But you're actually looking at people who hate cooking, who are too busy to cook. It's not a priority, so I think that there is a market for that. My only question to you is like, even if you have this smart frying pan, how does it gather the ingredients? Like, does it tell you have to go out and buy these things for the week? Because that still adds a chore to me.
Yeah. The pan doesn't tell you, hey, you're going to cook this. You're going to need chicken and rice and all this. No. You're the one telling your pan, like, hey, I've got like butter and I got a steak. That's all I can work with. Please help me. And the pan is gonna be like, okay, let's cook this, or okay, let's try this recipe.
So it works with the existing ingredients that you have, and then it puts together the food. Interesting. Okay, good. I think that you have a market, but think about the pricing because, well, you're not there yet, but it's only been 5 days. Because the people you are appealing to are probably the younger generations who are starting to live alone, who would have a financial, concern.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Magic Pan is such a better name. Oh my God.
Right? You can have a pen writing on a magic carpet.
In Disney World.
Yeah, some of my questions were addressed. I want to say that it was completely engaging. Like everybody was looking at you, your vibe, your voice, but also the product. And let me tell you that some startups and organizations spend months doing brainstorming and doing focus group to arrive to a good idea. And that just the name, flavorful, that's amazing. Just that is a good result on the project. And I have like a lot of ideas. Like first you mentioned, I don't have the time to cook, but as she said, what if I have? Or I don't know, if I don't have time to cook, then why do I have time to follow a tutorial, for example? Maybe, I don't know, like the narrative could be different. I know for sure you're making cooking cool, like the process, like changing mindsets. One of the questions was also if it was just personalized in the companion, but also you mentioned that it would be adapted to celiac, diabetes, and that would be amazing too. So yeah, I think that's it. And just like a feedback in the slide section where you put marketing and then you have B2B, B2C, maybe don't lose time explaining what is that. It's better to show examples like B2B and then you show who would be that customer, who would be that business, like examples. Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll keep it short. I think what we've seen here is what I call first principle thinking. It's the idea that the frying pan was invented almost 2,000 years ago, as we know it right now. So you guys decide to say, you know what? We have a health issue, we have a health crisis. Let me look from a first principle perspective. What are some of the tools that I can improve? And I think that's a very important step, again, to be creative, and that's what we're talking about, AI creativeness. So first principle thinking is the way to go. Second, I think you guys have something, but there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of open ends, and it's understandable, only 4 or 5 days. Fully agree with my fellow colleagues that it's never enough, but don't fall in love with your product. Okay, I see a lot of brightness in what you guys have written, which is great, but invention and innovation is all about trial and error and learning as you go. So be prepared to make mistakes and be prepared to pivot. Okay, so those are my two comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Okay, let's call I for you. Catalina Pazmiño, Sofía Quero, Joaquín Peña, Fidel Pizar, Isaac Farberov, and Nicolás Guevara. Vamos a darle un aplauso. Hay barra, hay barra.
All right. Thank you, first of all. And well, the truth is nowadays the majority of us make sports. Oh, all right. All right. All right. Okay.
Hey, let's give them some.
All right. Nowadays, the majority of us practice a sport, and we are often passionate about it. We want also to maintain ourselves healthy. The truth is that we as young people, we have dreams we want to achieve. And for athletes worldwide, often this dream of becoming a professional athlete doesn't become true. And this is where One For You comes in.
Right now, we live in a society where low-income community athletes usually drop out to 2 to 3 times more than their teammates. Not because they lost their talent, nor because they lost their passion, but instead because of a structural abandonment about the system that we have created. This makes athletes not being sure about themselves and what they can achieve in the future. Here's where One For You comes in. We believe in no matter your zip code or location does not define your podium finish. Here, take a look and imagine this small football team with small kids. This team are the fastest kid on their team, the hardest hitter on the field, and their heart and passion of their team. At one point, when these kids get to a certain age, they want to achieve something more. Of course, they want to become professional athletes as their role models, as a lot of us have. But because they're born in a system where easy help isn't provided to them, especially if they come from low income communities, this isn't accessible for a lot of them. And for example, in this picture, one of these 10 boys is actually going to be able to get this help and resources to get them to the next level.
First of all, what's an athlete? And why, according to the statistics, Panama doesn't produce very much of them? Well, an athlete is someone who trains and competes at an elite level. But what's elite? Elite is a top-tier competition level where, like the World Championships, the World Cups in soccer, and some of those. But it's not the lack of talent that affects the Panamanian children. It's the statistics and the structural and financial barriers that they are currently having to face. They don't have a proper medical, physical, and nutritional help to help them reach these high levels that they want, leading to this.
0.25% of registered athletes in Panama reach their Olympian level. 1% are classified as a high-performance athlete within national programs. 3% compete at a continental elite levels. Our mission is to help young, low-income athletes in Panama reach their highest potential, and so they can focus on development, not survival within the system.
Here's a case study that gives an example of what is happening right now. Take an example of Lucas. Lucas is a 16-year-old athlete. He's the MVP of his team. He scores a goal in every single match. He has great talent and passion for his sport. So this usually gets athletes to get promoted to the U18 teams or elite teams in this case. But what really happens when they get to that level? What usually happens is that people think that that's the beginning to a professional career. But because they need help to get to that level, it's not usually provided. So for example, Lucas can get stuck, start to miss practice, gets unmotivated, and his physical progress starts to decrease. Why is that? Because he cannot get the help. Of course, some programs actually provide this, but it's not accessible to everyone. We want to help these athletes, like Lucas, get this help in an easier way. A help that's personalized for him, not in a way if he can look it up. For example, some athletes, like Lucas, can be able to look, I don't know, meal plans on, let's say, Google or Pinterest, or workouts that are not specifically made for him, or made for what he's doing, or his discipline. That's where we come in. Because of this sample, Lucas and his team maybe start to lose the love or the passion for his sport. Not because the talent, it's because they don't have the help that's actually provided to them or what they actually need to prevent.
Well, this happens because sports are very, very expensive, and it increases if you're in a high performance level. Per child, per athlete, per year, it usually ranges from $10,000 to $20,000. That's a lot of money. And to become a professional athlete, you usually have to wait usually from 10 to 15 years. So imagine $20,000 multiplied by 15 years. And that's not something a lot of families can put on their budget. So, especially low-income kids. We know that a lot and most athletes come from low-income areas.
Well, as we already said, One for You is an app to help young athletes develop to higher levels. In this app, athletes will be supported with verified specialists that works with human diagnostics and clear templates. This is translated to actionable nutrition, physiotherapy, training, and mental health plans that works with tasks and time blocks with tools such as Google Calendar and Notion. For athletes that are already performing at a high level and are probably graduating, One for You also functions as a structured tracker for progress, giving them better visibility and access to sponsorships.
And how we do it is simple. We divide this process in 3 simple steps. First, we do a specific and personalized questionnaire to the user. This user resolves some answers like the sport practice, the condition physique, all the data that the app need to pass to the next step, the determine risk. How function it? We compare the data with all the database or the base database in the area, like Sportdictus, Medline, and some database specialized in the problem that we solve. And with this, we determine a risk that help the AI to consider if may send an automatic solution for the problem or need the help to a professional.
And the results are measurable. Most athletes who can become elite athletes are able to get scholarships. We won't guarantee you will get a scholarship, but we will make sure your chances to get a scholarship increases, and that an athlete can try to become elite via physical health, mental health, learning, and eating. So for the athletes, we are the ones for you. Thank you.
All
All right. Well, congrats. I think, like the other teams, you guys have something that you can continue to work on for sure. I think one of the missing links that I've seen, and I know it's there, it's the impact of each athlete becoming an elite athlete for their families, for their society. So don't just look at it from the athlete's perspective, but look at it from the societal impact perspective. And that will make this even more impactful, all right? So those are numbers you can find out, you can do the research. I like the idea that you guys are looking at it from an integrated, holistic approach. You talk about nutrition, training, recovery, which is great. That means that you've thought about the process and you thought about the problem. And I think those are two very key elements that will drive this to become a potential solution out there. So, like I said, I think the issue that you're still missing is kind of, okay, let's look at the true impact. It's not just the percentages, but look at the measurable impact on this athlete, his family, and the society. Because usually, as you know, professional athletes, when they come back to their country, they invest in stadiums, they invest in training programs, they do all these things, they give back to the community. And that is the missing link that will make this even more impactful. So congrats with a wonderful approach.
Thank you.
Amazing. I listened to your problem statement yesterday, and it was better today. You improved in one day. You improved really the problem statement, and I want to know, why do you choose this problem? And if you get to interview some athlete, I know it had been only 5 days, but I wonder if you interview some athletes, any of them. And also, a second question, what happened next? You get to develop the talent of the youth, and then what about alliances? Have you think about this?
Okay, so what have the first question is, what do we thought about this problem? Okay, so why do we thought of this is because like almost all of our team, we are athletes. And of course, we probably don't have the same problems, but we think that this specifically applies to some of the athletes that probably we know. For example, in my example, I know and I have been around athletes that have needed this resources to get to that level. Or if they're they tell them, of course, you have to improve in your mental health, on your nutrition, or your physical state. They probably, okay, I'm going to try to improve in this, but they don't know where to look for that help. Or if they find it, it's not accessible for them. And I think it's, for example, here in Panama, it's a thing that we can all use to improve in a better way. Yes, I have interviewed one kid. Do I need to say the name? Okay, so I interviewed one kid that is a soccer player. He told us that what actual athlete or high performance athlete means to him, and it's what we kind of based off our definition of, because it's not something you can really research or do opinions, because everyone's opinion is different. But of course, there's one huge thing that they have in common. That's what we put in our presentation. And they said that to become this and to be this a kind of athlete, you need this specific resources or tools to get there and to improve when you are already there. So it's not something that you only use to get there, but something it's really important and not always accessible to when you're already at that point.
This is very close to my heart. So I think our dean knows. I have raised an elite athlete, in gymnastics. So she competed Division I in America, got full scholarship. So you're talking about the scholarships here. And everything you've mentioned about the needs is very real. Because as a parent, I lived it. right? The nutrition piece, the transportation piece, getting them to and from practice, because it's very long practices, going to competitions, and that's very costly, right? And studying help, right? Like, you're gonna miss a lot of studies at school. So how does it, so I think you're onto something here again, and I think everything you said is very true. And I was fortunate enough, right, that, and you're right, it does cost $20,000 a year to bring them to that level. And once you identify the talent, you have to invest in it, right? And we are fortunate that we were able to help her as parents get to that level. But you talk about income kids, low-income kids here. So my question to you is, and by the way, you're welcome to interview my daughter if you want to continue with this project, because she has achieved that. She actually competed internationally as well. But my question is, how are you going to help the low-income families through this app? Because they cannot afford the specialists. They cannot afford certain things. How are you going to fund that for them?
Okay, first of all, congratulations on raising a Division One athlete. We know it's hard, and or like what we think we can help the low-income kids is by raising their parents of those kind of costly things they need to get. For example, they're not gonna have to pay anymore for trainings or psychological help or nutritionists, and we're planning on allying or doing like having Pandeportes sponsor these kids, because these kids are really talented. And I've personally met some kids that the only thing that they're missing to be the best in the world is the funds, because they're motivated, they want to do it, and they have the best disposition to get at the level. So that's what we're aiming the platform for.
So if you're really looking at sponsorships, then what Glenn said earlier is very important, the societal impact of this, because most sponsors are looking for that. Yes, they want to fund the kid, but they also want to see, well, how is this going to help with the bigger picture or the future of Panama, right, in terms of funding these athletes. So then you have to really broaden it and look at the societal impact. So thank you.
Well, maybe I'm not so familiarized with high-level athletes, but as a Panamanian, I know we have heard a lot of times that even Panamanian athletes that have competed in international level quits because of the lack of funding that they have, even from our government. That's a true issue. And we know that athletes have a great impact in our society. Even as Panamanians, we felt when some athletes quit and they said, I'm not more motivated to represent my country because we have failed them. So this is a great project, and it has really aspirational, it's an inspirational project that you can continue to help not just the athletes, but the society also.
Congratulations, team. Let's give them another round of applause. Let's give the first 4 teams a big round of applause, por favor. Okay, guys, we have a very quick recess, okay, a break of 10 minutes, please. You can come out, and exactly at 10:19, okay, we will restart, okay? See you in 10 minutes.
Excellent. You know, the projects are so well thought. Like, they want
Ok, chicos, chicas, vamos a tomar los asientos. Nuestros asientos, vengan. Viene el equipo Meji. Ok, come, chicos, ahí atrás. Vengan. Hi, guys. Okay, so Meji team.
Because I have to leave.
Ana, Camila, Elías, Jerlin, Tony y Hada. Okay. So guys, part of the experience is learning about the other projects. Okay? Learning about their processes as well, learning about the amazing questions and comments that our experts are doing as well. Okay? So enjoy that. Take advantage of it. Okay? So we are now back with our program. And we are with Team Meji, Ana Vergara, Camila Sierra, Elías Cuba, Jerlin Jimenez, Tony Wu, and Hada Abregón. Take it away.
Good afternoon, we're Meji, and teenagers' well-being is a priority for our future.
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna tell a little story about myself. When I was 12 years old, I got stuck in a pandemic, okay, the coronavirus, and that guided me to have zero friends and zero social life, and also I was stressed with all the homework that was given in school. So that guided my parents to take me to a psychologist. When I arrived to a psychologist, she told me that I had depression. And instead of making me feel better because I finally got to understand myself, it made me feel worse because I got a title from a doctor.
Just like Hada, millions of teenagers worldwide feel the same way.
Okay. But conquer the present, the problem. Today, 1 in 5 students experience social anxiety. In Panama, 24,680 students hicieron reválida en Panamá, pero eso nos dice que en realidad el sistema puede que no esté fallando, pero necesita ayudar más a los jóvenes, porque si un joven no tiene la posibilidad de hablar con ningún profesor, ¿cómo es posible que nadie le pueda dar un consejo o ayudarlo? Y en Panamá deberían implementar o ayudar mucho más a los jóvenes.
Between the ages 14 and 18, a huge rise of mental issues happen. Normally, teens keep this all to themselves. They don't speak to their parents, they don't speak to their teachers, they don't speak to friends, family members, no one. And every time a teenager doesn't speak up, it's the potential loss of a future doctor, engineer, Nobel Prize winner, scientist, mother, father, uncle, aunt, you name it. The real issue here is not that they don't speak up, it's that they don't feel that they have a safe space where they can. They don't feel that they have the confidence to share their thoughts and feelings in a place where they are not judged. So what we have to do is create the space for them so they feel comfortable for a future generation.
Many teenagers Many teenagers are currently struggling with mental health issues due to the high pressure that schools develop. Our mission is to create safe space for these teenagers that they our mission is to create a safe place, working with AI to make these teenagers feel comfortable and people don't judge them.
It's important to mention that we're not trying to replace human work. We're trying to make a bridge between students and a platform that made them feel comfortable. Okay, next, our vision. We already mentioned our mission. Our vision is to break that taboo concept, okay? In Panama, it's really visualized that if you have mental health issues, you're visualized as weak, okay? So we're trying to break that taboo, and in 10 years from now, we visualize Medji as a platform not only for teenagers, but for people all over the world.
Okay, teenagers are often described as a period of growth and development, but it's not the same story for everyone. They are marked with intense emotional pressure, silence, and confusion. In Panama, mental struggles are often hidden because people feel uncomfortable of sharing their emotions because of the fear of feeling judged. Because of this emotional stress, they start to accumulate and intensify over the time. As a result, what may begin as a manageable anxiety or emotional distress, it becomes to evolve in severe psychological stages, where it is reflected in the fact that 18.5% of Panamanian adolescents are experiencing suicidal ideation. And when these problems are not addressed, they interfere with emotional regulation, cognitive functionality, and most importantly, the reliance on maladaptive coping mechanisms that leads to people to hurt themselves to stop this pain.
Okay, I think it's time we all talk about the impact of this and later the solution. But first, let's talk about our solution, actually. Our solution, as Medji, we want to offer an AI-powered emotional support app specialized for adolescents. We would include private, judgment-free chat zones powered by AI to ensure confidentiality, and so that AI can adapt for each and every user to take care of every single context and situation teens or users can be facing. This AI combines learned behavior and clinical frameworks like the CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy data to detect psychological risk early on. Guided conversations with an AI can help further and strengthen our AI through machine learning, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And of course, optional access to actual licensed therapists inside the app will also be available. Okay, let's go back to the impact. As my partners already have established, our mission is to reduce the stigma around mental health. We want to also encourage early intervention during teens' life and make environments like school just feel way more safer, right? Now let's talk about the pipeline. As I mentioned earlier with CBTs, we would like to give not only CBTs to the AI, but also previous cases of victims, so it can know how to better manage conversations with previous patients and with future patients, so it can predict what struggles they might be dealing with. With also provide data processing. The AI will organize the information, and with it will detect any changes or any changes the users face, as long as they're using the app consistently. Our model is designed to understand the emotions and in a language that follows well-known psychological methods, and our app is designed to not diagnose, because an AI needs to be managed, which it will be managed by experts in its field, but of course we cannot diagnose. But what we can do is better predict or to help students. Our app is mainly done so students that do not feel integrated, or that feel alone, that feel that they can't reach out, they can find their way back to be slowly reincorporated and to learn about the importance of mental health and to feel like they actually matter. Going back with AI, like as I mentioned earlier, the AI will be evaluated, and it will be provided with maintenance by professionals. It won't jump to conclusions. It won't tell you, oh, you have depression, oh, you're this, oh, you have ADHD. It won't put catalogs on you. It won't minimize you, which is a problem a lot of us today, even in this room, might be facing. To better visualize what the app would possibly look like, we have a really early UI model. As you can see, the users can type whatever they feel. They will be assured that it is a safe space for them to share their feelings accurately, and yeah.
Thank you for your attention.
Before we end the presentation, we would like to thank all the Innova-nation staff for helping us make this presentation come true and helping us all the way and guiding us to make this possible.
All right. What's your name again? Hala. Hala. Okay. Thank you for being open, right? I think that takes courage to be open about your issues or what you were struggling with. It's very hard to share that with a big crowd. So, we need more evangelists like you in the teenage world. That, it's not a problem, right? And that you've brought mental health, into the light. That's an issue with all around the world. And it's seen as weak in many countries as well. Like if you have depression, if you have anxiety, if you have anything else, that's seen as taboo, right? Like you mentioned in Panama, that's actually exists around the other side of the world, in Asia as well. So I think what you're trying to do here is great. And I think being open about it, I really appreciate that honesty. I mean, my like I said, I love the idea of what you guys are trying to do, but there's a lot of questions around, the ethical use of AI in the mental health field, right? You see sometimes examples, even right now, of teenagers depending way too much on AI, right, for emotional support. You already see that around the world, and it's caused some really bad outcomes. So how are you planning to combat that? Because there's already a stigma around that, like AI should not be used for emotional health purpose. I like how you said this is not a diagnostic tool, and you made that very clear, which is a little, I feel relieved. But at the same time, like, how do you prevent the patient from, or the student from being way too heavily relied emotionally on this tool?
Okay, so the app, like the part that the student needs support to, is not gonna be like 100% AI. A lot is gonna be AI, but there's also gonna be a psychologist in the mix. We're still thinking about how incorporating the expert very well, but we think it's very important for an app like this to add an actual psychologist, because this is a very, like you said, this is a very risky thing to deal with, like mental health, and it cannot be 100% AI. So we also need to have like human mix to that.
One last thing I'll say is that's good. Thank you for that. And I just recommend you, as you build this, build awareness around the importance of mental health as well, because you're talking about you're seeing this, maybe families or society will see this as weak. How are you going to break that taboo, right? Like, I think by building this, it's not going to break the taboo. Parents might be hesitant to use this. So how are you going to build awareness around that? You don't have to answer that right now. I'm just saying as a recommendation, like building a society awareness of this, and that this is not a weakness. I think it's going to be really important to help with your product.
Yeah, again, seconding a bit what Lily was saying on what is kind of the issues that you guys are trying to address. This is a huge problem. I don't have to dedicate too much time on explaining how big it is, but you already said 18.5%, if I'm not mistaken, was suicidal in Panama among teenagers. That's huge. You guys are saving lives, and that is not easy to do, of course. So I second what Lily said in terms of the awareness, because we already know that teens are using AI as a mental coach or what have you. It's already happening. So you actually have to get on a crusade to teach them how to use it much better, what not to do, what you can do. Those are things you can do tomorrow. You have to build an app for that. So I really encourage you guys to be a maverick, be a front runner, be an early adopter on best practices, leading practices, on how to use AI when you are in these situations, and just make a how-to guide. And you can do this, and this will help you start to build a community. Because once you have a community, you have understanding of the problem and the issue, and that will lead you to a better solution. Okay, so build the community by giving, by addressing a problem, by showing and sharing what are some of the good things on how to use AI, because there are kids already using AI. Thank you.
You guys are very brave to address this problem, and I want you to say, you all, that you are facing, we all are facing a very challenging world with a lot of challenges, and AI is one of them. That it's a tool, but it also brings us a lot of, like problems like that, like youth using AI as therapist. And when you mention safe space, sometimes we need to make zoom. Like, what does safe space mean? Because safe space means safe people too, safe platform, safe data. Like, to explain what a safe space is and how will you make that safe, like in a holistic way. And thank you for opening, and storytelling is important in a pitch, and you get us. And when you mention AI to understand emotions, maybe AI understand patterns of the emotions. And how will you model to understand patterns? You need information, you need data, and there are other people and organizations trying to do this. So my question is, have you mapped national or international, like an organization that is modeling like emotions focused on depression in youth?
Okay, so I have actually researched about this, and I've heard of a professor in MIT actually that's working on doing this. Like, he's doing a project right now on AI identifying patterns in a person's personality, like what they post on social media, how they interact, and like that the AI recognizes if they're having symptoms of anything. So I actually know of like that professor that's doing this. That's where I actually got that inspiration. And this app, we're not really making it like a therapist, because AI can never be a therapist. We're making it as like a step before, because some people sometimes are too anxious to go to a therapist. Me, for example, I find going to the therapist or to the psychologist very anxious. So I think this is like a step one, like before, so you can actually like talk to it and it can help you, but it will never replace a psychologist. Yeah.
It is also important to mention that, like, expressing yourself behind a screen is easier than expressing yourself when you're facing the person. Okay, so like when people make hate comments online, they're doing it because they're behind a screen. But when they're facing you, they didn't even dare to look at your face. So I think it's actually the same by expressing yourself about your feelings. And it's also difficult to tell your mom that, hey, mom, I think I need a therapist. Moms and dads are not perfect, and they usually don't understand why. If you have friends and you go to a fine school and you have active life, why do you need a therapist? So, like, telling an AI and don't having to tell your parents that, hey, I really need to go to a therapist is easier than, you know, expressing yourself. It's basically the whole point. It's just a bridge. The platform is just a bridge between teenagers, platform, and then the platform professionals. We're not trying to replace anyone.
Well, I want to speak about my experience as a teenager's teacher. I have seen firsthand how this can, the damage that can do to our kids. And as you said before, it's really hard to see that in this society they don't feel that they have the safe space in their homes or even at the school. And it's a challenge for all of us, especially the adults here in the room, that you have your kids here and you have the challenge to know them when they have mask on them. And it's a really important issue that we all have to speak about it, to break that taboo, as you said. We have to speak about it. And I'm glad that you mentioned that you have to that you're going to have a supervisor, because it's really delicate, as we all said. But when I was when you have the data process that you had that the AI is going to focus on general aspects. And I understand that is trying to not to diagnose a person, but there are some issues, emotional issues, that are cultural, that are from our society, from our age, and we have to pay attention to that, because maybe this app can start little, maybe from an age or a culture, or have different spaces, because we have to understand that also, that not that everyone is different, and even cultures are different also. So
I just want to clarify that big issues like race, big opinions too, and we are not saying that you are doing like that you did a bad job. You did an amazing job, and we need people like you to solve big problems. So congratulations.
No, it's actually a blessing to have your opinion, because we need professional opinion to grow as a person. So thank you. We appreciate it, yeah, a lot. Thank you so much. Are you proud of yourself? Yes, sure.
All right, another big round of applause for Medji. That was amazing, guys. Okay, so we are calling to the stage Team Threda. Am I saying that correctly? Threda? Yes. So, Cristel Almanza, Kairos Perez, Nina Plata, Jimena Feliu, Daniel Abadi, and Bella Wong. Yes.
Okay. Do you know that fast fashion produces 92 million tons of metric textile waste every year? That's why we created Treda. The problem we're taking in consideration is the pollution created by fabric waste. This happens because companies like Zara, H&M, and Forever 21 that are fast fashion companies, they are more focused on the mass production, rapidly changing trends, and offering low prices so they can sell even more. The consequences here are that by promoting more and more, but they also make people replace their clothes easily, and they overproduce a lot. That's why they waste the fabrics, the materials here, and the materials end up in landfills and in oceans and waters, which creates a lot of pollution. The materials that are being used here are polyester and nylon that takes more than 200 years to decompose because they are made of plastic. This, while decomposing and while washing and everything of that, they release microplastics through the environment, which end up getting ingested by plankton and fish that end up in our food chains. So we consume all the microplastics and it becomes toxic for the human health. Yeah, there's other materials like acrylic that also releases more toxic microfibers. There's different types of toxic. And they also use the type of cotton that is not organic. This means that they have a lot of pesticides in it. So when they are displaced or they're trashed out, they release a lot of heavy metals into the nature.
Threada's mission is to transform pieces of discarded clothing that already exist into personalized pieces, giving textiles a second life while reducing clothing materials that end up in our landfills and oceans. Our vision for the next 5 years is to reduce textile contamination in Panama City by 50%, reimagining fashion through creativity, sustainability, and conscious use. And finally, being able to expand this impact to other cities and provinces, because Panama doesn't deserve dirty oceans.
To solve this, we created Treda, a website boosted by AI. This AI helps people to transform clothing waste into a new pieces of upcycling clothes. This process connects people that have garments that they no longer use and transform them into a new pieces by creating minds that can turn the dreams into reality. The website also connects the tailors and gave them the opportunity to give their products to people that are aware of the contamination. It not just helped the environmental field, it also helps the economical field because it gave the opportunity to people they gave the opportunity to tailors to give and local makers to have a job. And it also, with this project, we are also tapping into the upcycling market that is growing right now. It is, according to Fortune Business Insights and other studies and articles, they say that this market is going to reach
16 to 20 billion dollars by 2022.
So you may be wondering how AI powers Treda and how it actually works, how the system actually works. Well, AI serves as a facilitator between the customer and the producer, so between the tailor and the customer, basically. So the process works as follows. First, the client uploads his design ideas, so the style, the preferences, the materials, so or organic materials, etc., and the dimensions of the clothes. Then Treda's AI analyzes the specifics of the client's request to generate an initial design proposal. This design proposal can be changed and modified by the consumer, and when it is finally approved by the consumer, it is uploaded, and then tailors can actually review the design that Treda created. The tailors can also change the design, and when the tailor and the customer both approve, the design can finally be made and fabricated and turned into reality.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Now I'm going to explain another technological part. This is a process that we, for those who don't know, this is a process that we learned this week with our wonderful, teachers. Okay, this is the pipeline organization for the creation of our AI. In the first step, we have the data collection. So the AI used in Treda studies digital tailoring patterns. We are planning to follow our AI with the most quality data about fashion trends. You know, like something in TikTok that you have a lot of things about tailors, about bueno, un montón de cosas sobre telas y sobre los diseñadores y el contexto panameño que hoy en día tenemos para que la inteligencia artificial pueda tener datos importantes sobre la situación de Panamá hoy en día. So in the next step, in the data processing, we are going to implement rigorous cleaning and filtering process. Para que esta data pueda ser filtrada y pueda ser administrada de la mejor manera, nos guiaremos con expertos. Como nos enseñaron esta semana, nos guiaremos con expertos para poder hacer que este proceso de limpiar esa información nos ayude a reducir la cantidad de información falsa que podamos encontrar y aquellos bias o sesgos que podamos ver por ahí. In the other step, in the model selection, we are going to approach this process by learning the approach with the three types of learning, the machine learning. That are supervised learning, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Okay, in the evaluation step, we are going to make like a better part of our AI. Vamos a hacer que la gente pueda probar esta inteligencia artificial, o sea, un número reducido de personas para que nos puedan dar los detalles y las cosas que pudieron aprender acerca de esto y así verificar que esta inteligencia artificial funciona de la manera en la que debe funcionar. And in the final step, in the deployment and maintenance step, we are going to, once it is viable and una vez que nos demos cuenta de que esta inteligencia artificial funciona de la manera correcta, procederemos a lanzarla en nuestra plataforma.
Okay. In conclusion, fast fashion significantly contributes to textile pollution, harming the environment with its production of low-quality clothing that is quickly discarded. Many fabrics used, like polyester and nylon, are plastic-based and slow to decompose, releasing microplastics that pollute water and harm ecosystems. Even natural fabrics like cotton can be environmentally damaging due to the chemicals needed for growth. If unchecked, fast fashion's expansion will worsen pollution. Reducing this issue requires changing in clothing production and consumer habits to protect the planet.
Fast fashion users?
I can start. Congratulations, you all. First, I want to acknowledge all of you that are brave to start speaking in English, because it's a challenge too. Like, it's a challenge to pitch, but to pitch in your second language is a challenge too. So an applause for that. Fast fashion means also fast trends. So for me, it's very innovative that, like, the tailoring patterns, because the power of AI in terms of a new trend is coming, and it's not easy to the tailors or to the upcycling companies to adapt those patterns and to use upcycled materials. So it's very innovative, like the core of the program, that coding can be also a product. And congratulations for that. It's like a way of activism. Like, it's something that already exists. Have you researched about tailoring patterns? Tell me about that. It's new, or have you heard of that before?
Of the patterns.
Yeah, like using AI in terms of patterns.
So that is basically a system of statistics. They predict the next trend, which not always is right. So that's why they do that they discard so many clothes and create new pollution. So what we're trying to do mostly is that the tailors communicate with the customers to create more unique type of pieces, like more personalized, not like for a machine, more like for you, you know. So it's not like a trend, but it's whatever the customer wants, mostly.
Well, I have a couple of questions, because as a person that like crafts, I really love it. I have tried everything. I have crochet in my bag right now. So it's really an interesting proposition. But what I didn't got is, who is going to make the designs? Is the company, or is like the textiles are going to send to the client?
Okay, so the client is going to have an AI-made connection with the tailor. That the client is going to propose what he wants, and the tailor can make it, or like propose new ideas so they can do it together and have a better result.
But in which level is going to be this tailor? Like, we have big companies that have so much waste, but we also little tailors that produce waste, and they can be more close to the customers. I didn't understand that part. Who is who is going to make in the business?
Okay, so I think there was a misunderstanding. So a lot of the fabrication process in actually making clothes comes from the design, comes from los planos de la ropa. So what we're doing is automizing that by using AI. So the customer actually says or states their preferences to the AI, and the AI automatically makes a design for them. This reduces the time the time and expenses that the tailor needs to actually make a customized design for the customer. So this reduces costs for unique and personalized clothing, and we hope that it can reduce the environmental impact of fast fashion, because by reducing the cost of unique clothing, we can make fast fashion disappear in a future.
And when you make a pattern, there's a lot of ways. Maybe the AI is going to like acomodar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So-
now I get it. Thank you.
So final question, and I'm trying to understand how you guys are addressing the problem of fast fashion. So the way I understand it, you're saying that the way fast fashion works is statistically they just throw out stuff and see what sticks, and therefore there's a lot of waste.
Yes.
Is that the correct statement? Okay, so perfect. So now what you're proposing is let's do a much more personalized, unique process and using AI to do that. To what extent do you believe, or has the evidence shown, that when I have personalized stuff that I'll consume less?
It's going to be very.
Okay, so we're trying to produce less waste because we're trying to use the materials that are being discarded to recycle them. So that's the way we try to make the things to have less waste, really.
Yeah, so my question really is around behavior. Because at the end of the day, consumer behavior has to change, right? Because if we keep buying stuff, we will continue to pollute the environment. So what I want you guys to think about is the root cause of consumption. Why are we buying H&M and Zara and all this stuff, right? Because we want to look cool, because it's the latest trend, because there's always something new. But now we're flipping it. We're saying, well, I have this solution that will allow me to personalize. So you don't need to go to Zara. Just think about whatever you want. You see on a TikTok, I want that. AI will build it. The question that I'm having is, will that change consumer behavior? Will I consume less or will I consume more?
Well, we're hoping that like by creating this like brand, we will like try to influence others like to also like, you know, like recycle and make it a trend. Exactly. Like kind of like a movement. Like let's say like on TikTok, like people like let's say an influencer, she starts like using recycled clothing. Many people will also start to use recycled clothing, and that can influence other brands to do the same.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, team. Another round of applause for this team. Excellent job. Alrighty, so next team, let's call to the stage Power Glass. Juan Felipe Carrizo, Juan Arturo Sáenz, Sara Jaramillo, Cilianis Salcedo, José Paredes, and Maria Prescott. Un aplauso, por favor. Who's starting?
Good morning, teachers, classmates, and juries. Today we're going to present you our not as much as a service, but more a product, Power Glass.
Our group is joined by Juan Felipe Carrizo, Maria Prescott, Sara Jaramillo, Silcia Salcedo, José Antonio Paredes, and myself, Juan Arturo Sáenz.
In Panama and in other countries, the electricity and building are so expensive. This is due to the high use of lights, elevators, and air conditioning. And the dependence of the expensive electricity companies. Traditional solar panels are not a viable option for their cost, their need to large sailings and need to have sailings and difficult of installation. This cause high bills and reduce the economic capacity for families and host.
Okay, so Power Glass is a smart window technology that converts the power of the sunlight into clear electrical energy, and this also combines the natural power of the sun, the natural energy, and also the aesthetic of the design of the window. So, like you can see, it's like it has the design of a window. It's technically a window that acts like a solar panel. How can this? How is the solution to this problem? Well, this window that can use in schools or houses, they can also with the artificial intelligence is used to see how it absorbs the energy, and also you can calibrate so the inside of the environment doesn't get too hot because of it. So this also has the solution of the costs that has the electricity, because this can also make the costs to go to from 20% to 40%. And this also helps the environment to grow, and so because we use like we use okay, so esto usa en sí como utiliza resources from the environment. O sea que son como materiales que podemos utilizar y así no daña el medio ambiente.
Okay, so now we're going to talk exactly about what is a power glass. So as you have said before, it's a window that works as a solar harvester. What does it mean? That it works as a solar panel. It's like a typical window we use normally in the buildings, towers, and many other skyscrapers, but it acts as a solar panel. It's composed of many thin layers that are mainly produced in Russia by a material called perovskita, which is that? It's a semiconductor that absorbs the solar energy, mostly the UV and infrared lights, that it produces energy by it, also visible light, and it only opacities on the window are mainly caused by it. But as you can see, these lines in the solar panel or window are the ones electrocytes which transform the solar energy to electrical power that can be used as a viable source in towers and stuff. As you can see also, in this part of the window, we have electrical wires which carry on the energy that is produced inside of these particles, and they transform it into energy that is then used in lights, artificial energy and stuff. And now,
So now we're going to explain how the window works, the parts of the window. The first part is the protective exterior glass. This is the exterior glass that we will see and protects our technology, our wonderful technology. The transparent is not a solar panel, it's the perovskita. This is the technology that we use for the sun become energy. So if we walk over here, we see the thermal insulating layer. This is a question that a lot of people have, that in the window inside the building it can be hot because the solar panels they create a lot of energy and the energy are hot. Well, this part is the protective of that. And the last part is the interior glass that we all see from inside the building. And now, Maria Prescott are going to explain the AI and the software.
Thank you, Juan. Now we are gonna talking about the AI works. You are seeing, as we can see, yeah, AI works is like the automatically adjust of the opacity of the window to according of the sun, the temperature may be inside or outside the building, and two can be to according of the time or hour. So it's learn over time exactly how to keep your apartment comfortable and cool, like cooler, like, do you know what I meant? Next, please. We are talking about the behind the window, the brains behind the windows. So now we're gonna talking about the easy control. It's a very easy control because you can see my phone. Well, we don't need it. We don't need it. No apps, no cell phone, just a simple physical controller panels. Residents and admin can use it for controlling what they want, what they prefer. If they prefer it's more cooler, if they prefer it's more opacity, or something like that. So it's maybe can be located in common areas, like inside elevators or near of the elevators or something like that, so near of the building. And now we're gonna talking about the real-time data. Real-time data is very, very important because here we have the energy generated and we have the indoor temperature. It's very, very important because it's very easy to use it. And now we have the many smart learning. Do you know what I mean? Yeah? Smart learning. We have the energy saving, maths energy saving, and we have the manual control. And others like we can control if we more light, if we want less light, and something like that. Yeah, so when you make a change, the AI remember your preference and incorporate it into its daily routine. In conclusion, this is your best incorporation in your building because it's very centralized and it's very simple and it's a completely automatic and we can use AI. Next.
So we're going to talk what types of AI we're going to use. Regarding the IT, Parglass mainly uses reinforcement learning with algorithm like PayO, which allows the AI to learn by trial and error. It tests different opacity levels. The AI can receive rewards when it generates more electricity and keep the thermal comfort inside the building, or it could receive penalties when it fails, thus adapting to the real conditions inside the building. And it's combined with supervised learning to predict the future production. Not only that, it could predict the future production, or the temperature is going to be outside, or how many energy is going to create in a day, in a month, in a week, or in a year.
So now I'm going to talk about our business model, what we are going to use as Power Glass to distribute ourselves to the world. So the cost of production of this Power Glass is mainly about $100 per square meter. Now, right now, by selling this, we have a net margin of about 40%, as we would sell it for about $250 per square meter. This would be our market here in Panama on most of great cities that have skyscrapers, because our main target public is the skyscrapers. This is why we have many visuals of skyscrapers and buildings right here, because the sun projects more at the higher levels. If houses don't produce more compatibility to the sunlight, we could use the towers as our main source of income. and the return on investments of customers on our product will be on approximately 6 years because they'll be ahorrando themselves the energy producer costs.
Yeah. In conclusion, what we have here is the future. Is what we're gonna do in the future. Because we now having more urbanization, more innovation, and we don't have a space for panel solars conventional. It means we need to be innovation and do different things like that. Window panels, but it's not a only window. It's not only a conventional window. It's not only a tools. It's two different things that we can incorporate on our life for be healthy and eco-friendly with all the environment.
Hourglass wants to thank everyone that's here, especially the el staff, the Innova-nation, and Tia Karin for giving us this good opportunity to learn. Thank you.
I'm, first of all, congrats. No, don't go away yet. Don't go away yet. Guys, this is amazing. Let me be very frank. I'm very, very surprised of what you've been able to accomplish such a short time frame, because to be able to present the level of detail with the technology, with the user interface, with the panels, with the design, and have the story come together like you just did today is fantastic.
Thank you.
So applause for you guys again. Well done, well done. You even had numbers. You even had projections. I mean, this is incredible. So, of course, there's a lot of talk about having these intelligent smart windows, and it remains to be seen that if it's indeed a solution. Now, in Panama, we have a lot of skyscrapers already. In your model, have you talked about how to replace windows instead of just selling them to a new building?
So our main target, as we said earlier, would be skyscrapers. And yes, we haven't figured out yet how to incorporate it to now existing skyscrapers. We'll mostly associate with new building companies that will build skyscrapers in the future. We'll send in this power glass as their main source of windows at the buildings. Mostly big skyscrapers are mostly consistent of glass and windows, as we said earlier. But in the now existing skyscrapers, what we'll do is that mostly residential ones will be selling them as commerce to customer, but business to customer, sorry. And but in the commercial part, as the now existing ones, like the big ones, we haven't figured out yet.
Congratulations, you think outside of the box. You have all of what a real engineer needs. You lived a real engineering process during this whole project because you are thinking to build a prototype. So my question is, how was that learning process? What was different? Because your team wants to build something that is a prototype that is physical. And what's the difference with the other one? The other teams that are more like coding or interface platforms, how was that?
Well, before this one, we had five ideas more. I could say that, and in the five, we have a prototype. We think that the prototype is the most important part for starting to build a product, because I don't know, you need to see how this is going to work, how it's going to see, and you ask why we different in the
learning process was different.
Yeah.
What was different? What did you learn?
Well, we learned that we learn. I'm thinking. We we learn about la perovskita, the thing of Russia. That was a debate because I don't know. I didn't know if I have to choose from other country or Russia, but we chose Russia. Russia. I didn't. I didn't was 100. No estaba tan de acuerdo, pero that's okay. Yeah.
Emotional talking, the learning process is not was good. Like we have many disagreements, like muchos desacuerdos, but I think is the main like escalón to we can growing, and con esas opiniones encontradas, we can build other superpower, like other like be bigger than us.
Just let me tell you that you're facing what other companies are facing nowadays. So that trouble and debate about what country should I buy, that's a debate in all the companies you're living and you lived a real experience. Just let me tell you that. Congratulations, good job.
Thank you.
First, I really like that part of the presentation where you guys speak with your names to each other. It's important. It takes the attention to the public. It's great. And I have a couple of questions about the prototype because you told that your market are the skyscrapers, but there's a problem on that, the shadow. Okay. Solar panels works with radiation, and you have radiation all the time, but the efficient depends on the direct sunlight, and all the buildings now are built in a way where if you in this city, for example, you have too much buildings and they are so close to each other that it's going to have many shadows on your windows, and that's going to affect the efficiency. And also, well, I know that you're going to figure it out, so I hope so. But in the automatization part, where you have inside your house, I saw that this has a lot. You have a lot work on that, but maybe I advise you to redireccionar the AI so you can control which window it's working, to analyze now, analyze which window has receiving the most radiation at different time. Yes, because you know it changed. And maybe you can focus on that more than in the controlling part, because inside the house you have products that do that right now. You guys say to any device and turn on the air conditioner or something, and even they do it by themselves. That's not really new, but what it's going to be a great add to your project is to make the AI help you with the radiation part. Okay.
It was a question or an advice?
A comment. It's like an advice, but if you have something to say, perfect.
That the thing about the shadow is that, as I said earlier, and he was debating about the Russian thing, this perovskita, there's a new material that was created in Russia like 1 year ago, and it was mainly composed of strong and sufficient energy force, like to keep these materials and this sunlight, mostly UV rays and infrared rays that are the invisible ones, the ones that we cannot see. Therefore, it produces so much efficient energy that even when there is not direct impact or there's a cloudy there or something like that, it can even produce or almacenate energy itself without depending or relying on that there is direct sunlight or not. In the shadows, yes, there's a lot of skyscrapers in this city and many other cities around the world. But with this kind of technology that they have developed recently, we can not assure you, but there's like a 60% efficiency that was tested earlier, that they would work without needing mostly UV rays directly to it all day. They just need a couple of hours, and then they can work out like a solar panel does when there is no sunlight.
Okay, 60% is a great number, and maybe as technology is working, it's going to increase in a couple of years. So it's a great idea, and I like the way that the color, it will help the design of the building also, because one of the problems is maybe that they are not beautiful. Okay, and we like beautiful. But my question is the increase of the prices, because you said that it's lower than the solar power, solar panels now, but it's difficult to tell with the political environment, it's right, but also the efficiency of the material. Normally, when you have a more efficient material, it means more cost. Okay.
Muy bien. Another round of applause for Power Glass. Thank you. That was awesome. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to call to the stage our last team of this amazing demo day. Let's give a round of applause to Cacti Labs. Derek Wu, Diego de la Guardia, Lucas Guevara, Samantha Matos, and Santiago González.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Did you know that most of environmental damage is caused by sudden disaster that appear like from anywhere? It is true. Most environmental damage are caused by problems that are long and have been there for a lot of time, but we don't have the measure to know that until it is too late. One problem with that is the soil problem, more specifically the soil degradation. Currently in Panama, 32% of all the soil on the territory, as we can see in the map, faces something called moderate to severe soil degradation, which affects its fertility due to erosion, mineral loss, also bad management of the physical and chemical processes. These not just affect our food, but also affects the local communities, the land, the environment, and it also affects water chills thanks to the environments that are around it. A critical region is the Arco Seco, where this problem affects like to 20% and to 40% the whole quality of the food that grows there.
So, some days ago, we interviewed 4 agricultural producers, which all of them had almost 30 years of experience in the agricultural sector. So, we can see that all of them, they were working in different areas of Panama, but they always present the same problem. They had problems with erosion in the floors, and also they had problems with fertilization, which are problems that are now caused because of climate change and other things like no no rain and other things.
Okay, so as previously mentioned, the problem we are currently trying to solve is soil degradation in many areas of Panama. Now, as we learned in the class, why does this happen? Well, this happens for a myriad of reasons, but among them is poor agricultural practices. And why do those poor agricultural practices happen? Because of a lack of knowledge. Now, this is the specific portion that we are going to focus on in our solution. Lack of knowledge of what? We don't know what the soil needs, what the soil wants, when it wants it, what nutrients are missing, what nutrients it needs, what interactions it needs with the environment, and that is what we aim to solve. Now, our solution is, of course, artificial intelligence, right? What better way to gather and process information than with artificial intelligence? It's much faster than us, it's got much more capacity for memory than us. It's a really good solution, a really efficient solution. Now, the idea is to make an artificial intelligence program that can understand what the soil requires and give us a recommendation on how to best feed it and optimize it. Optimize its capacity for growth, optimize its capacity for plant life, right? So, next slide, please. So, the first step in building our artificial intelligence is gathering the data, as the pipeline explained. Many teams have showed the pipeline already. I'm sure you're familiar with it. The first step is the gathering of the data. What data will we need to gather? Well, we need soil data. We need to know what the soil needs and when it wants it. So we will gather that. We will need the pH, which is the alkalinity or the acidity, the moisture. We will need certain amounts of nutrients, such as phosphorus, calcium, nitrogen, and potassium. We will classify what land is used for what. For example, some is used for agriculture, other is used for ganadería, which is a type of agriculture, and some is used for rural urbanization, We will also see how precipitation affects it, because of course rain affects the fertility of soil, and we will check proximity to industrial activity, because that's of course erodes the soil some more. Now, how will we acquire this data? Well, first we will use open soil data, which is, open soil data that is available to the public, that many studies have already realized, and we will use sensors and satellite imagery to gather the data more punctually in the usage of the AI. So the open soil data we will use to train it, and then the one that we gather from satellite imagery and sensors we will use for executing it.
Well, ecosystem data is often very hard to label. So to make this process more effectively, we decided to implement a hybrid approach, to select a hybrid approach, merging clustering and classification. First, we will use clustering, first to organize the unlabeled information based on the data similarities, and we'll also analyze agricultural health and patterns that help us understand better for the classification process. In the classification process, we will assign each group into 3 labeled groups, which will be healthy soil, at-risk soil, or degraded soil. Next slide, please. Okay, as many or every AI module, we also have this basis problem, well, not necessarily a problem, but something to consider. And here I demo the models, well, the basis that we may face. The first one being historical bias, which is when we have old information that clashes with the new one, very problematic for this AI. Sampling bias due to the presence of unrepresented data, especially microecosystems. Measurement bias from errors from sensors and satellites. And lastly, human cognition bias. This is mainly in the labeling process. And how will we, what is the solution that we propose for this? First of all, is constant and frequent updates and a transparent process of clarification with everything merged in a pro-environmental framework.
In the system of the workflow, we have to evaluate
evaluate. We had to evaluate the data, like ingesting it, you would say. So we have to go for a process, which my friend said, first clustering and then classification. If the test of the evaluation it reaches about 75% or above, then it is qualified for deployment. If not, then we restart again. And the process of the deployment, we need a cloud. Not a literal cloud, but a data cloud. And we chose Microsoft Azure. And for people to use it, we used a web-based user interface so that those that authenticate or have a license can use it, or people who want to use it as it is publicly, they will be free to use it. And this is very, very important in the future, because using sensors and the satellites and all the data that you get, even if you're not an expert, you can still see which parts of the world have degraded soil and good soil to use.
So our business model is now is centered on the B2B, business to business. Since we're wanting to centrate on the private sector businesses, like such as Melo Group, that we will help them by giving them analysis of data that will be current in any moment, since they can have all updated for anything that they will need.
In conclusion, Panama is actually a bridge for economic growth. So why we don't make Panama also a bridge for agriculture innovation and invest not just in a product or a platform, but in the future of our soil. That is the foundations of the future. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, guys. I really like your project. Food security is something that we are facing, and it's really important. I have a few comments, but the health of the soil that you mentioned is just for agriculture. It's like soil for agriculture to plant. And you have to consider at your bias that every plant needs different requirements. Yes, so you can be so general. It have to be specified for each plant. And it's really important what you said, that it needs to be easy. It needs to be easy because who is going to see this? Or agricultures, and maybe they don't know the technical stuff, but they need to know the information. They need to know what they need so they can plant and secure all the food that we need. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Again, I really appreciate the fact that Karen invited me last minute. Where is she? There she is. She told me this is going to be amazing. You're going to see amazing people presenting really cool stuff, and I think agriculture is one of them. We all know that Panama can be a very important player in agriculture, but we still need to get our act together. So there's a lot of projects actually going underway with Google, AI, and others, trying to make more intelligent farming. Now, the problem, in my opinion, and I want you guys to, I hear your opinion, because you talk to farmers, the problem usually is not AI or technology. It's the actual farmer itself not willing to change their habits. Things they've been doing for years and years, and families, that's the way it is done. How do you think, and first of all, do you acknowledge that as one of the issues? And second, if you do, how do you plan to address the resistance to change. Let's say if the technology is the best technology ever, the farmer still needs to use it.
Okay, he did the interviews to two of the farmers, so he knows more about it.
So to the farmers I talked, and I offered them the AI as a tool, not as a replacement, such as a tool, because when I talked to them, they thought they were gonna replace them, and then that might be something scary for them because, all that work and that stuff that they did might be making them feel like my work didn't value at all. So we offered it as a tool because it won't plant, it will just help to see how the soil is, like the fertility and other stuff that they need, so making their work more easy and not so hard.
Yes, and in that line, I think it's really important to say that our agricultures know that the way that they do things in the past, maybe they are not working anymore because environment is changing and the soil is changing, our needs and changing, and we are more people. We need more food, uh, even when the things that they know that they do are great, they have worked in the past, things are changing, and these tools are necessary.
Hi, first of all, congratulations for that amazing slide deck. Like in that slide deck, you had first the source of information in each slide where they were presenting the data, and that's very useful and very professional too. And also, you were talking in terms of bias, clustering, and also what's amazing too, like it's high level, and that you are talking in the language of real AI creators, and I really appreciate that. Also, you had like a good font, number, images, pictures. So it doesn't seem to be important, but when you have a crowd, it is important. Because maybe I don't know what you're talking about, but if I see, okay, Panama, I see colors, I see the source of information, it's reliable. You had also the interviews, the research, like the video where you can tell me that you talk to people, but I don't know. But when I see the video or the picture, I really know that you talk to somebody. And I have like this question in every group, like, have you talked to someone? Have you interviewed? And I want to know, neither of you or of us are expert in agriculture. Like, what was the most challenging part of the brainstorming process or thinking in a model of agriculture when you don't know or have the expertise?
At the first, it was defining what we consider a healthy soil, which minerals or what type of data we need to determine that that is a healthy soil. So we are not in that topic, so we have to do a lot of research.
Well, I think the hardest thing to find was the specification, as we said in one of the classes. We first started talking about like global warming and climate change and the ecosystem in general, and then we started centering it like, okay, the ecosystem in Panama, and then how can we analyze that? And then we started centering it more, and we said, okay, so there's the air, the water, and the land. We have to find the quality for each of them. And then a little bit more, and that's how we reached the destination where we are, the soil quality in Panama. That is our current specification.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing, impressive. Guys, por favor, un aplauso para ustedes. This was a otro nivel. In Spanish, we say like a otro nivel means like on another level, next level, okay? This was next level, and I am super proud of the amazing process that you've had during the past few days. This was something else, and I want you to carry on, with that sense of accomplishment. Okay, you all did great. We could all understand your ideas, your projects, and now I want to tell you, you have kind of a responsibility, okay, to keep the momentum going. Do you know what momentum is? El momentum, cuando hay algo, es como una energía que se siente, ¿ok? Y en ese momento que uno, I'm sorry, switching to Spanish, ¿ok? Because this is important. When you feel a momentum, cuando tú sientes la energía, tú tienes que actuar sobre eso, porque ahí es como se amplifica todo lo que se está haciendo. Y ustedes han logrado muchas cosas. So, before inviting Erdin to tell you a few words of remarks before we go to lunch, because lunch is ready, okay? I know you're hungry, so lunch is ready outside, and we will have 45 minutes to have lunch, and then we have a closing, entrega de certificados, and we'll have to say goodbye. I want to thank these guys, okay? They were amazing. Fatima, Nicole, Glenn, and Lily that had to step out for a few minutes. You gave with such warmth, great remarks, asked amazing questions, and gave great feedback. Okay? I feel that this was such a constructive morning, and it was, in a very, very high percentage thanks to you. So, gracias por estar acá y aportar, ¿verdad? This is an investment in all of our times for the future. So, thank you guys. Erdin, Mark.
Class, raise your hand if you can see me. Raise your hand if you can hear me. Yeah. Okay. My first message is going to be to your parents. Some of them are here, and the rest of them are watching this from the live stream. Is this a live stream? So I want to say to the parents, you're raising amazing kids. And you should be very proud. So let's cheer for the parents. You're amazing kids, amazing kids. I'm sure I speak on behalf of the entire teaching team, me and Mark here, Karin, and all of teachers in the world, all teachers in the world. We have the best job. We have the best job because to work with kids, and I know you think you are not kids, you think you are adults already, but you are kids. To work with kids who come into the classroom with an open heart and an open mind, it's magic. It's the best. And you came here with open hearts and you came with open minds. We're so happy. This is magic for us. Now, let me say a couple of words for you. It's hard to be a teenager. It's really hard because you're trying to build your life, but the world is so uncertain. We don't know the future, and we don't have enough knowledge, and so it'll be hard for you, and it's normal. And in this environment of uncertainty, lack of knowledge, what can you do? Well, the best thing you can do is to take things under control that you can control. And what is the first thing that you can control? What can you do when you come to class? What is the first thing you can do when you come to class? Remember our week. Yes! This is my message to you. Bring your notebook to class. And when you've learned something, what do you write down? What is the first thing you write down? What did you learn that's... Yes, that's new, right? What is the second thing you write? Exactly, how you will apply it. What is the third thing you learn? Who are you going to share it with? Yeah? Do you want to hear? There is a fourth thing that you can write. Would you like to know what it is? Oh, very, very good. Why? There is something else. That's right. Why? Exactly, actually. Do you want to know what it is? Hey, see, you're learning. Right? What new questions that raises for you? And if you can do this, bring your notebook to class and write down what you've learned. You can control this. And believe me, every teacher in the world will agree with me that if you do this, you will go far. And your life will be full of adventure. Yeah? And guess what? When we say bring the notebook to class, this is not the main classroom. Life is the main classroom. So bring your notebook to the classroom that is life. Yeah? And I know you will. Mark. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I just want to share with you one thing. You know, I'm very sad because I couldn't see you, most of you. But it was for a good reason, yeah? I was in Parlantino. And as we said yesterday, I told them what you said. I told them what you want for Panama. And you know what happened? After I told to those people, to those politicians, what do you want? They started to applaud. This is for you guys. Yeah? Okay. Yeah? You are really changing your country, and you will. So don't stop. Yeah? And the first day, do you remember that I said, we are going to become a family, friends forever, yeah? And normally it's wrong, you know, because to get this, we need one ingredient that I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you. This ingredient is that you must open your hearts, and you did. So thank you for opening your hearts to us. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure to work with you, and don't stop. Change your country for better, and imagine your path, and you will achieve this, okay? Thank you so much. It has been unbelievable. Thank you.
Gracias, Mark. Gracias, Erdin. Okay, it's a wrap for the demo day and for the presentations. Congratulations again. Pizzas outside for everyone. Aha, pizzas, that was a surprise. And we will be back in 45 minutes. Let me see, what time is it? 1:55. Okay, no, half an hour. Yeah. Okay, so 2:30. So 35 minutes, okay? Buen provecho a todos. Y gracias a los que nos están viendo desde casa. Gracias por acompañarnos. Saludos. Bye.